Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Tonight on our news, the BPSU threatens to shut down the hospital and airport. The DPM dodges a question on the award of contracts in his ministry. And preparations underway for tomorrow's advance poll. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, trouble is brewing on the labor front. The Bahamas Public Service Union is threatening to shut down the hospital and the airport if leaders don't hear from the government by the end of the day. Bethany McDermott reports.
We need the money! Yeah! We need the money! Yeah!
Dozens of discontent workers from the Public Hospitals Authority and the Airport Authority showed up at the 66 Steps today.
We're giving them today, and let me tell you something, I'm going to say the same thing the president of BPL said, let the chips fall where they may.
Bahamas Public Service Union President Kimsley Ferguson called on officials to meet their demands or face the disruption of operations at Princess Margaret Hospital and Lyndon Pindling International Airport.
If it takes shutting down to get these things done, then that is exactly what we intend to do. They did something for BPL, they're going to do it for these people. And so their services are just as significant or even more significant than that of BPL.
Ferguson said the union has been faced with issues dating back to 2015.
There's hazard pay for these persons who have to come in contact with COVID-19 patients. That's been outstanding for a number of years. There is promotions. There are a number of issues. There are salary increases. And so uniform allowance. The persons at the Airport Authority haven't had uniforms in 5 years.
Now, one by one, employees from the Public Hospitals Authority and the Airport Authority stepped up and expressed their concerns. They all say government could have done a bit more.
Let us pass. It is very bad. And the government minutes got to do something. Ms. Beach got to do something.
We were not at any time off during this pandemic, yet we are disregarded, we are overlooked. There's a promotional exercise that we're still waiting on. There's incremental payouts that we're still waiting on.
We need medical insurance. The doctors and nurses have their medical insurance. But why can't the lab, why can't the phlebotomists, why can't the med techs get radiologists? Why can't we receive our medical insurance?
Ferguson said they reached out to the authorities to address some of the issues, but they weren't happy with the response. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
The PHA said in a statement this afternoon the industrial agreement with the BPSU was approved by the board on May 19th, and the draft cabinet paper was submitted to the Ministry of Health for further action on June 15th. Well, the Ministry of Health revealing today that it has received results from the Fiocruz laboratory in Brazil, confirming the presence of the highly transmissible Delta variant of COVID-19 in the Bahamas. The National Reference Laboratory submitted 98 COVID-positive samples to the lab for genomic testing. Sequencing, Delta was detected in 41 samples, the Gamma variant was detected in 1 sample, Alpha was detected in 39 samples, and 18 samples are still going through the testing process. The samples were collected between May 6th and August 8th from individuals on New Providence, Grand Bahama, Abaco, Andros, Eleuthera, Exuma, and Bimini. The new sequencing results confirm that the Delta variant is the predominant variant in the Bahamas, followed by the Alpha and Gamma variants. Officials stress the healthcare system is now severely challenged and overburdened. As a result, non-COVID-19 cases requiring healthcare are at risk of not being able to access life-saving healthcare. Shifting gears, the Ministry of Public Works Minister, Desmond Bannister, dodging a question about the award of contracts in his ministry. The question was put to Bannister today following an industrial agreement signing.
There have been a lot of rumors swirling in the past week, particularly about there's an allegation that the government awarded you a contract for school repairs.
Today is about BPL. Today is about BPL, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
When Our News asked Bannister about the award of contracts last Thursday, he responded with a statement on Friday that did not address the issue, but blamed the allegations on the PLP. Well, Bahamas Power and Light signing its first industrial agreement with the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union today. Jared Higgs has the details.
The industrial agreement comes less than 3 weeks after dozens of BPL workers demonstrated outside the company's Tucker Road headquarters. At that time, management called the protest illegal. Today, BPL CEO Whitney Hasty thanked the union leadership and the executive negotiation team for pulling the deal off.
We were able to succeed because of the diligent, meticulous work of the union executives who represented their bargaining unit and the BPL executives who represented the company.
At the time of that protest, Bahamas Electrical Workers Union President Kyle Wilson listed contract, healthcare, insurance, ill treatment of workers, and promotions among the group's issues. Today, he reacted to the new deal.
Satisfaction is objective, you know. I mean, I would like to get $1 million raise. So you could never satisfy me, right? But what it is reasonable. And it allows more bread on the table and allows us to keep with the cost of living in the Bahamas. It don't allow me to eat stew fish for breakfast every day. But I can still get my little 99 cents corned beef and tuna in the morning.
The industrial agreement signing comes 8 days before the next general election. Wilson warned at that protest the government shouldn't go forward with its election plans without addressing the union's concerns. With his union's main issues addressed, and after admitting to liking Desmond Bannister, Wilson shot down suggestions that he supported either political party.
People have a choice to make on their own. If you're smart, you're going to know what suits you. And what I'm saying is, my union, I'm here for workers' rights, and we're here for the persons and the people of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, the COVID-19 pandemic is causing an alarming spike in deaths among pregnant women, according to a PAHO official who is recommending that they get vaccinated. Giorgio Bain has that.
Healthcare systems overwhelmed by the COVID-19 pandemic and fragile immune systems of pregnant women are leading to a startling increase in maternal deaths in the region, according to Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne.
So far, more than 270,000 pregnant women have become sick with COVID in the Americas, and more than 2,600 of them, or 1% of those infected, have died from the virus. Most countries in our region have already reported more cases and deaths among pregnant women this year than in all of 2020.
During today's PAHO press briefing, Etienne said the pandemic is threatening to set the healthcare system back 20 years, despite advancements in preventing maternal deaths.
COVID-19 has become the leading cause of maternal deaths in 2021. For the past 3 decades, Latin America and the Caribbean struggled to reduce maternal mortality. And now the pandemic threatens to wipe away 20 years of hard-fought gains.
Etienne recommends that all women beyond their first trimester get vaccinated.
PAHO recommends that all pregnant women after their first trimester, as well as those who are breastfeeding, receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
In other news, on Grand Bahama, final preparations are underway for tomorrow's advance poll. Kyle Joaquin is on the island where thousands are expected to vote.
The tents are set up just outside of polling stations here on Grand Bahama in preparation for tomorrow's advance poll. 5 seats up for grabs. We spoke with a few candidates today who think they all have it in the bag.
Polling Division 1, McAlpine. Polling Division 2, McAlpine.
His 2021 election run may be a bit different than 2017, as he's now running as an independent candidate. But Pine Ridge incumbent Frederick McAlpine is confident he will deliver once again. Going against the PLP's Ginger Moxie and the FNM's Wellborn Boodle, McAlpine says he hopes people have seen over the past 4 years who he's really for.
Regardless who's the government tomorrow, you better make sure a person like Frederick McAlpine is in there to hold their feet to the fire and to keep them accountable to do what they said they would do. If I did it for my own party, the Free National Movement, certainly I'll do it for any other party.
Another hot race, West Grand Bahama and Bimini, where incumbent Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe is looking to hold off the PLP's Obi Wilscombe.
I feel very good. I feel good about the fact that the doors are wide open for me. The people have allowed me to come in. They've allowed me to speak about my imperfections and humbly ask for their apologies if there's anything I might have done wrong on my first terms.
While the seat of East Grand Bahama was one the FNM won in 2017, there is no telling whether it's secure for the party as voters consider government's handling of Hurricane Dorian a major issue heading to the polls. Just want to know how you feel about your chances going into this advance poll tomorrow and the election next week.
I just give God thanks for the opportunity to offer myself to serve one more time.
Minister Kwesi Thompson is somewhat confident the party will hold on to the seat previously won by Peter Turnquist.
And we're just asking the public to keep all candidates in prayer, keep the advance poll day in prayer, keep election day in prayer. But we feel very, very confident with East Grand Bahama and very confident that the government is going to be returned.
Just one more question. You going? Okay. There are 4 locations for advance poll voters tomorrow on Grand Bahama, unlike 2017 when there was only one. With party tents set up outside the gates for campaign teams, Thursday's advance poll will undoubtedly be an interesting one.
We have 3 teams for each polling division, each station right now. And that basically is to minimize the overcrowding. Due to COVID-19, there are certain restrictions and requirements that are put in place by the Parliamentary Department.
From Grand Bahama for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Partly sunny skies today. Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the latest.
Thanks, Christina. Welcome, everybody, for your first look at weather. Of course, another wet day around the capital. Showers and thunderstorms earlier today, prompting the department to issue some severe weather warnings. Temperatures in the mid-80s, 84 under partly cloudy skies. We still have some showers lurking around. Your winds are still light and variable, and your feels-like temperature in the mid to upper 80s. Satellite-wise, moisture still across us, sparse, but enough to cause some showers and thunderstorms. We will continue to see 1 or 2 more of those showers and thunderstorms tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Up next, a grim warning from a medical expert, and a poll examines how voters view politicians. Stay tuned. 227 candidates have now made it on the election ballot.
Women in leadership is exactly what we need.
Our overall objective is to change this country for Bahamians.
Listen to our message, and you will hear all about the new Bahamas as we progress forward.
The first round of voting takes place Thursday, September 9th in the advanced poll. Tune in to the RTV network beginning at 8 a.m. for continuous coverage. It's our vote here on RTV Network. Amid a devastating surge in COVID-19 cases, former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands is warning that it will get worse before it gets better. Bethany McDermott reports.
With COVID-19 hospitalizations reaching record numbers, former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands estimates that the worst is yet to come.
I'm afraid things are going to get a lot worse before they get better, and there are a lot more Bahamians that are going to die.
On Tuesday, the Ministry of Health revealed that there were 162 COVID-19 deaths confirmed since August 1st. That's close to the 171 deaths reported between March 2020 and December 2020.
I would have operated on 6 COVID patients in the space of 24 hours yesterday. I have to operate on another 5 today.
He added it's a battle for non-COVID patients to get admitted to hospital. As of Monday, 191 people were in hospital with COVID. Officials say 176 were moderately ill and 15 were in the intensive care unit. However, the cardiovascular surgeon says that's not an accurate picture.
Those numbers do not tell the whole story because we only have so many ICU beds, but many of that 191 persons are seriously or critically ill.
Sands, who was also the FNM's candidate for Elizabeth, also encouraged Bahamians to get vaccinated. He said COVID demands a change in behavior and warned against certain activities.
Cocktails in closed places, bad combination. Now, I have nothing against cocktails, but when you are in an enclosed space or when you are carousing with people shouting and laughing in your face, that's a recipe for disaster.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Well, Bahamians begin voting tomorrow in the advance poll, but the majority of Bahamians will cast their votes on September 16th. A Rev Media survey has found that personality may play a role in how likely voters view leaders' ability to handle major issues. Respondents to the Rev Media Voice of the Bahamas survey were asked to think about personality and which leader they think will do a better job of managing a select list of issues. On the issue of the COVID-19 pandemic, 37% of respondents favored Elizabeth MP Dr. Dwayne Sands. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis ranks lower with 26% of respondents voting for him. PLP leader Philip Davis rounded off the top three with 17% of respondents, and 8% of respondents voted for confidence in PLP Deputy Chester Cooper. The other leaders made up the remaining 13% of the votes. But it's the issue of health services that saw confidence in Dr. Sands more than double that of the current Prime Minister. Sands secured 47% of votes from respondents who are likely to vote in the upcoming election, while Minnis secured 20% of the vote. 14% of respondents voted for Davis and 8% voted for Cooper. It comes as former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham told reporters he supports Sands 100% as the re-elected member of Elizabeth. Rev's VP of Media, David Burrows, explains why the survey was conducted. The survey, which was conducted on September 6th and 7th, was contracted by Rev Media for the Voice of the Bahamas survey series.
Our methodology was an interview survey. It was sent to over 160,000 adults, and it was completed by 1,176 adults, which works out to about 0.75% of the 160,000 people that it was sent to. And 2,311 people started the survey, but we have a completion rate of 50% of those who started the survey.
Burrows says participation came from all 39 constituencies across the country.
And we made sure that when we did the final calculation of the survey, that it was weighted based on population across the entire country. Evenly weighted, so that it is a balanced survey representing people from a balanced perspective across the entire country.
So how accurate is the poll?
It was completed by an independent market research, F and Thalamus, and they're a research consultancy firm out of the UK in London. This survey has a 99% confidence interval and a margin of error of plus or minus 4%, which is quite a large sample, so we were able to get a pretty high confidence level.
Be sure to tune in to RTV tomorrow for full coverage of the advance poll. Continuous coverage on RTV begins at 8 a.m. Up next, two incumbents predicting chaos at the polls. Stay with us. 227 candidates have now made it on the election ballot.
Women in leadership is exactly what we need.
Our overall objective is to change this country for Bahamians.
Listen to our message, and you will hear all about the new Bahamas as we progress forward.
The first round of voting takes place Thursday, September 9th in the advanced poll. Tune in to the RTV network beginning at 8 a.m. for continuous coverage. It's our vote here on RTV Network. This is our news. Welcome back. Holding a snap election in the middle of a deadly COVID surge without outlining voting safety protocols is a recipe for disaster, according to two former F&M MPs. Jasmine Brown reports.
Both the former F&M MPs turned independent candidates were highly critical of the Minnis administration and the decision to call a snap election.
So I do expect a lot of confusion. I expect mayhem because that is the nature of this administration.
I expect to have you're going to have mass confusion and chaos because there's nothing in print.
Their comments come a day before up to 30,000 people are expected to vote in the advanced poll. Thousands more are expected to mark their X on Election Day next Thursday. Both Moutry and Chipman, who are former Free National Movement MPs, slamming the Minnis administration for daring to hold an election during a pandemic without having a plan in place to give all registered voters the chance to cast their ballot.
I respect the health officials and I respect the advice that would be given. But their advice cannot be inconsistent with the law. If the law gives every registered voter the right to vote, no health official or prime minister or minister of health or minister of national security can circumvent the law and the constitution.
And he didn't stop there.
If you don't have any policy in place and proper protocols in place, then no one would know what to do, including the workers who are working the polls for the government.
Meantime, Chipman says he is not shocked the Minnis administration dropped the ball.
With poor governance, poor management of the affairs and the health of the people, it's very difficult to it's very difficult for them to put forth a case. They're not ready for that.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Jonquil and the Sun stay red hot as they win number 10 in a row. Marcellus Hall has that tonight in sports.
All right, thanks a lot, and welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. It's been a little rainy here as of late, but in Connecticut, no such issues. That's because the Sun, the Connecticut Sun that is, have been shining bright. Looking to continue their massive win streak last night, going up against the Dallas Stars. Let's see how they did. After a few days off, Jonquil Jones and her Connecticut Sun back on the floor last night. They traveled to Dallas, taking on the Wings there. Suns looking for their 10th win in a row. They get off to a great start. An 11-0 run to take a 25-8 lead late in the first quarter. Leading by as many as 33 points in the ball game, they go on to cruise to the victory 83-56. That ends up being the final score. They remain in first place in the Eastern Conference. As for Jones, she had 11 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal. This came in just 26 minutes on the floor. Sun play again on Thursday when they go for win number 11 in a row in L.A. versus the Sparks. Just in case you're wondering, Jonquil averaging just under 20 points a game with 11 rebounds. She continues to lead the league in double-doubles. And that's your check on sports for you here on this Hump Day Wednesday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. Still ahead, will there be sunshine or rain at the polls tomorrow? Find out after this. 227 candidates have now made it on the election ballot.
Women in leadership is exactly what we need.
Our overall objective is to change this country for Bahamians.
Listen to our message, and you will hear all about the new Bahamas as we progress forward.
The first round of voting takes place Thursday, September 9th in the advanced poll. Tune in to the RTV network beginning at 8 a.m. for continuous coverage. It's our vote here on RTV Network. Looks like there may be a mix of rain and clouds to finish out the week. Greg is back in the Weather Center.
Once again, Christine, and welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. Across the tropics, we are still watching that area in the Gulf of Mexico. The National Hurricane Center giving that about a medium percent chance for formation. Still spreading some showers and thunderstorms across the southeast United States, some of that making it across our area. That will keep us in an unsettled weather pattern for at least another day or two before things clear out. And then, of course, we have very strong Hurricane Larry still out there in the Atlantic, moving towards the northwest, heading towards Bermuda, but we expect that to make a turn to the north before it gets there by Bermuda. Swells associated with the system will be spreading across us, affecting our boating forecast for the next couple of days. Northwest and central islands, southeast to south winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 1 to 3, but swells out there up to 7 feet. Across the southeast Bahamas, east to southeasterly flow 10 to 15 knots, and those swells will still be up to 7 feet along the shorelines. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Monday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow morning for the advanced poll. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.